guys, we have party identification data model object. Party identification data model object helps you define name of the party you are bringing to data cloud. It has certain attributes which we have to define, and this party identification data model object we have to map when we are bringing a data stream. Like we have mapped a data stream with individual object, contact point email, contact point phone. Similarly, we have to map that data stream to a party identification data model object, so that whenever we are exploring our data, we understand what is that party all about. Is it a customer who has made a transaction? Is it a driver? Is it a conductor? Is it an insurance agent? Is it a supplier? Or is it a doctor? What it is? Based on business requirements, industry to industry, you will have different parties to be coming inside data cloud. So party identification DMO will be helpful to map those data streams to party identification attributes, so that at later stage you identify what is that party all about. So it has certain attributes like party identification ID, which is nothing but the individual ID or contact IDs which you are mapping to individual IDs. Like if it is a lead, you are mapping lead ID to individual ID. The same would be party identification ID. Then the other attribute we have is party. This ID is a foreign key. So whatever lead you are bringing, lead will have a lead ID, but will have an email address. Email address is unique to that lead. So email address can become a party foreign key, can be mapped to party. Then party identification type. What kind of party it is? Is it a person who has made a purchase, a customer, a transaction, or a doctor, or an engineer, or a supplier, or a service agent, insurance agent? So you have to define party identification type there. Then identification number. This identification number is the ID used for identity resolution comparison. Identification name, it is similar to type. This required is used to specify the name of the ID. For example, is it a mobile ID, a LinkedIn ID, or a driver's ID? So all these are some of the attributes you have to define whenever you are doing some mapping. If you are bringing some critical data like a driver license number, you can have party identification name as a driving license. If you are bringing some insurance data, insurance number. Or you can simply work with identification ID, party, and identification type, top three attributes, to identify a party if it is a profile category data. For example, what we will do, we will go to data streams. Once we go to data streams, this is the B41 profile which we integrated. These are the custom data which we got from the Salesforce Marketing Cloud data extension. Now this is the data. Suppose who has made a transaction and has purchased certain products. He might have purchased a phone, a laptop. So these customers' transaction data we are getting inside the data cloud. Those transactional customers' profiles we are getting to data cloud. So we have to map it to our party identification data model object. Currently it is mapped to individual. It is mapped to contact point email, contact point address, contact a default DMO for that data lake object. But we also have to map it to party identification DMO, so that we understand what kind of data we are bringing from the system. So what we will do, we'll click on this and we will search for party identification data model object. We'll write party here and we will find a party identification data model object. We'll click on plus sign and we'll click on done. Once we have clicked on done, this is the party identification data model object to which we have to map the identification details. Some things are automatically mapped. I will remove it and map it in front of you. So for this, the first thing we have to map is party identification ID, which is nothing but the individual ID, which is nothing but the subscriber key of that particular data extension. So we will map subscriber key with party identification ID, which is also defined as a primary key. Then the other thing we have to define is the party, which is a foreign key. Here we can take email address as a foreign key. We can take email address as a foreign key. Take email address as a foreign key. Now guys, you see that party and party identification IDs are mapped. The third thing we have to map is identification type. We have to define what kind of data it is. Suppose this is the customer transaction data, customer transaction profiles. So we should have one attribute inside this data model or data stream which we can map to identification type, which we can map to party identification type. But currently we do not have any such attribute coming from data extension. So what we can do is we can go to that particular data stream and we can add a formula field. We can add a formula field which can be named as party identification type. Party identification type, which can be a text, which helps us determine that the party of this data or this data is of customer transaction profiles. We can write simple formula like we can have a proper case apply function, and inside here we can have a default value customer transaction profiles. Customer transaction profiles. We can click on test and you will see that whatever data is coming inside this data stream will have one extra attribute party identification type, which will contain customer transaction profiles as a default value. You can apply functions inside a formula field. Formula fields are often used inside the data streams to add some extra data to it. You might not have that field available inside the original data source, but you might add a formula field to add an extra data inside the data stream. Now, once we have created the party identification type field, what we can do is we can click on review mapping. Once we click on review mapping, we have party identification type, party underscore identification underscore type, the field which we just created. We can map it to party identification type of the party object. So we have mapped party identification ID, party identification type, and party from the party identification object. Rest are not required. If they are required, you create formula fields and you do it. Also, guys, the mapped default DMOs also has something like party. Okay, it also has an attribute called party. So we should be mapping the party details, which is the email address, which is the foreign key, to these default DMOs as well. We should be mapping the foreign key party to these default DMOs as well, so that we are able to easily identify from that particular data model object which party it belongs. Here I am keeping party as foreign key as email address, but you can also have any auto-generated unique ID. If you have two IDs, primary and foreign keys, you can have it. In individual also we might have a party. I don't think individual has it. It has party type. So in individual, in party type, we can map party identification type, so that from individual we understand that the party identification type is a customer transaction profile. So here we have mapped data to party identification DMO, and this has completed our data mapping. So in data mapping, we have seen a lot of things, how to bring data from data sources. It creates data lake objects, then map it to data model object. If it is a profile category, data map it to contact point email, contact point address, contact point phone, individual, as well as party identification data.